Guys, welcome back to Lily Read. In today's video, we have a simple one. Do you guys remember at the beginning of the year when I read The Other Boleyn Girl and Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief? We're going to continue in the series because you guys know I have an issue with completing series, and so we gotta keep going in the series. And I'm actually really excited because I enjoyed both of those books in that vlog. So that's pretty much all this vlog is about. We are going to be reading some series this week. So the first book I would love to get to in this video is The Queen's Fool by Philippa Gregory. This is the sequel to The Other Boleyn Girl. Now, here is the thing. I always tell you guys that this series can be read in a different order. There is a prequel series that was published after the original series. So I am reading the books in publication order. So this was the second book published after The Other Boleyn Girl. It is called The Queen's Fool, and this is what we're going to be reading. It's another long one. The words are small, but I enjoyed The Other Boleyn Girl so much. I just will read anything this author puts out, and I think this is going to be another winner. And then we're going to read the sequel to The Lightning Thief, which is The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. I don't know what goes on in this book. I told you, Percy Jackson is just something I have a cultural blind spot to. Like, I just never read the Percy Jackson books. So we're going to read the next book in the series. I hope I enjoyed this book more than the first book because I know that the series gets better the more that you read. That's what people say. Now, of course, you guys, I have the Juniper. I think that's the name of the company. I have those covers, so that's why my book looks like this. And so, if we finish these books and we have some time at the end of the week, I want to read the next book in the Immortal Longing series by Chloe Gong, and that is The Vilest Things. I purchased this book on my Kindle, so if we can get that series in too, look, I'm going to be finishing those series I was talking to you about, not finishing them, at least continuing in them, because I gotta get better at reading series. Anyways, that is what we're going to be reading this week, and I will see you guys to discuss The Queen's Fool, because this is the first book we are going to be reading, okay? Peace! Howdy, people. I'm here to come and give my initial thoughts on The Queen's Fool. So this is the second book in the Tudors novels. And I told you guys I'm reading it in the order that it was published, so I read The Other Boleyn Girl, which means it's now time to read The Queen's Fool. And in this, we are actually following someone who is not a part of the monarchy. We are following someone who is an outsider. So she is a Jewish girl, and her family was kicked out of Spain because they were Jewish. And so now she is in England with her dad because her mother was killed for being a Jew in Spain. So they are now in England, and they are pretending to be Protestant in order to, in order to not be seen as Jewish and to be, hung or to get their head chopped off. You know how that goes. Well, one day she sees these men, and these men are like lords of the palace. They're at the palace, whatever. And she notices that there is something hovering over them, and she tells one of the men that, and they're like, she has the sight. She can see things that other people cannot see. And so they bring her back to the palace, and they decide to make her the king's fool. She is the king's fool, but there is an issue here. The king is dying. Now, the king is the son of Henry in the last book. I would have to tell you the last book. There's a king, he is sickly, and then the king had two daughters. He had a daughter with Anne Boleyn, whose name is Elizabeth, which we know in history Elizabeth will eventually become Elizabeth I, the queen. And then there is Mary. Mary is the daughter of the queen and the king that was the queen when we started The Other Boleyn Girl. So that's what's going on here. So their brother right now is the king because Henry died and all of that stuff. And the queen, this girl, she has a little tea on Elizabeth because she actually has been to the palace before. And when she was at the palace, she saw Elizabeth, the princess, having sex with her stepdad. So that was a whole thing, and her stepdad got sentenced to get his head chopped off, and so that was a whole thing. And the stepdad, this is getting confusing, but after Henry died, his wife remarried a guy named Tom Seymour, and Elizabeth was sleeping with Tom, and everybody knew. And eventually Tom got hung for, you know, treason, and Elizabeth went on about her merry way. And that's, so she has a little bit of information about that, but that was years ago. Now she's back at the palace. The Elizabeth I and Mary, their brother, is on the throne, only half brother, but brother nonetheless, and they're trying to figure out who is going to be the queen next. But we are just following this girl who is the fool. Eventually, because this is called the Queen's Fool, I guess I should tell you that the king does die. Mary does become queen for a second, and she becomes the fool to Mary as a spy. She is spying for the other side who don't want Mary, because Mary is a Catholic. Mary is Catholic. She believes the official religion of England should be Catholicism. And so Protestant, she's like to the left. She's not doing that. So you have the Protestant people who are just like, no. And then you have Mary who wants everyone to be Catholic. And so we're following the Queen's Fool as she gets into this. This is also really, really good. This is just really, really good. I will say I'm not enjoying it yet as much as the other Boleyn girl, because our main character, whose name is, I can't even tell you, I done totally forgot. Hannah. She doesn't have any stakes in anything yet. Like when it came to the other Boleyn girl, I think her name was Mary. What's her name? Mary and Anne, they had stakes in this. There was something that they both really, really wanted. That's not really happening here. Hannah is on her feminism girl boss thing. She doesn't want to get married. She really don't want to be at the palace that much. She really just wants, you know, to be young, wild, and free. And because this book was published in the early 2000s, like the girl boss, the feminism, like heavy-handed, because we just didn't get a lot of literature that was heavy on feminism. So this book is trying to nail that home. And so like now, in 2025, it's just like, okay, girl, we get it. She's girl bossing. She doesn't want to get married. But so I will say it is missing those stakes that I think the other Boleyn girl had. But the story is just as good. The story is just as good. It's good to be back in these worlds with these characters, all the like people being conniving, the tricks, the schemes, the sleeping with people. It's just all so much fun. These books are just fun. If you have not picked up this series, please do. If you're looking for something to get you out of a reading slump, pick these books up. They start off like, I would say the first 20 pages you have to get your footing, because you're just like, okay, what the hell? But once you get your footing, you are fully in. This is like those books where like it feels like I'm watching a TV show. Like sometimes I'm just like, I'll be thinking about this book and then I'll be like, ooh, I want to watch some more of that. And I'm like, wait a minute, I was reading that. That wasn't something I was watching, because this is just really, it feels like TV. Just really, really good. So I am on page 150. I would like to read 50 more pages before I go to bed. I thought I was on page 200. I'm on page 150. That's a little problematic. So I'm gonna get to page 200, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I need to give you guys a check-in on my sourdough. We'll talk about that tomorrow, okay? How my sourdough is going. We'll deal with that tomorrow. I actually just got back to my house. I was gone for a few days, so I need to get my bearings. But anyway, before I go to bed, I am going to read 50 more pages of this book, and I have some pizza that is going to be delivered to my house, so I cannot wait to eat that. And I'm going to watch some Abbott Elementary, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Hello, you guys. Today is Tabata Tuesday. I am dressed for my Tabata Tuesday. Today is a get back day. I did not have a good Tabata Tuesday last week. I did all 32 efforts, but I did them at 55 and not at 57, which I usually do. I was just sore. I think I pushed myself a little bit too much and I kind of hit this plateau. And so I took 5 days off because I went out of town, as I was telling you. And so I should be good now. I worked out yesterday and I felt good. My legs felt lighter. So here's to hoping that I'm good today and I can do all 57 efforts, because I will actually be not all 57 efforts. I can do all 32 efforts on 57, because I do kind of feel like down on myself when I'm not able to do it at 57, because I know that I can. And when I can't do stuff that I know that I have been able to do, it just feels like I'm regressing. And if you are someone who works out a lot, I think we all can relate to this feeling of like hating when you're regressing. Like, What's going on? Why is this happening? Anyways, I need to come and give you guys some thoughts on the Queen's Fool, because since the last time I've seen you guys, I have read 100 pages of this book. I am on page 250. I would like to read 100 more pages today. I woke up this morning, so I read 50 pages last night after I talked to you guys. Then I woke up this morning, read another 50 pages, and I would like to read another 100 pages by the end of today. What are my thoughts on this book? So this is an interesting one, and I can see what Philippa Gregory is trying to do with this one. So in The Other Boleyn Girl, we were in the politics. We were on the battleground. We were in these people's minds as they were fighting for the throne. And this book, because this book is being told by an outsider, we don't really know much of the politics. We don't know why Princess Mary and Princess Elizabeth, why they're doing the things that they are doing. We are just getting accounts from Hannah and how Hannah feels and who's Hannah's loyalty to. So I will say, unlike in The Other Boleyn Girl, this book is keeping you at a distance. You kind of feel like you're not a part of the politics. You don't know where power will land. And that's an interesting way to tell this book. I will say I am enjoying it less. I would like to be in the head of Princess Mary sometimes, or Princess Elizabeth. And Hannah, the thing I'm having an issue with, I think, with Hannah being the person who this story is told from, Hannah is a fool. Hannah is 14 years old and she's the Queen's Fool. So therefore, Hannah just by nature has a go with the wind type of personality. And I like that this book points that out. The guy that she likes, the guy who, so there's the dude who basically turned her into a fool, who made her a fool of the castle. He is being tried for treason and he's in prison. And Hannah goes to talk to him, and Hannah goes like, I love Lady Elizabeth, I love Lady Mary, and he says that, oh, you're just a woman, you're just a girl without a mom, and you go anywhere that you feel like you are loved. And I thought that was really interesting, and so it kind of changed my outlook on Hannah, because at first I was just like, child, Hannah, anybody who give Hannah a drop of attention, Hannah is, they best friend. But this book kind of explained it. It had to say, Kenya, that's kind of the point. Hannah is just a girl who is young, who gets mistaken for a boy, who has a dad who don't really give that much of a fuck about her. Can't even be Jewish, and her mom is dead. She just wants people to accept her as she is, and so that's why she's so susceptible to just falling in line to whoever in power, whoever gives her attention. She's so susceptible to them. And so when I see the book in that way, I actually think this book becomes a lot more interesting. Seeing Mary as this person who was I already saw that Mary doesn't realize that people are using her to their own game, but having people also say Mary, you're being used, and her still not seeing it, I find that to be very interesting. But like I said, because Mary just goes with whatever, it's kind of hard to find a person in the story to root for, and it's crazy to root for. We already know how this story ends. So it's crazy to root for someone, but it's kind of hard to be okay, why is this person doing that? Why is this person doing this? But I do think it adds a little bit of mystery though as well, to have these two sides battling, side Mary, side Elizabeth, and you not knowing who is what. You almost feel like you are Hannah the Fool. And so that's what I think. I think you got to give Philippa Gregory, the author of this, her tens. Philippa Gregory takes you exactly where she wants to take you. And I think that is a skill as an author. I don't think you are able to come to a conclusion that she already wasn't trying to lead you to. And I think that is clever. So this book is still good. It's still, I get in it. I feel like I'm watching an episode of TV. So good. Let's talk about sourdough. Can we talk about sourdough? Let's talk about sourdough. This is my sourdough. Since the last time I've seen you guys, did you guys see when I put it in this container? Ooh, this is thick. So I realized, I think in my sourdough creation, I was using too much water. I was using entirely too much water, or just not enough flour, one of the two. But at this point of our sourdoughism, I think I could use this sourdough. It has a good smell to it. It definitely needs to be fed. It has a good smell to it. I'm getting a rise out of it. Not a great rise, I will say, but I think I'm gonna give it a month. I've decided to give it a month, and then I will use it. Just number one, for flavor, so we can get more of that sour flavor. And it's getting warmer outside, and my sourdough starter seems to react the best in the warmth. I keep it by the window. So I think I'm going to discard half of this. Yeah, I think I'm going to discard half of this, and I'm going to put it in a new jar so I can wash this jar. This is going to be my sourdough jar, but I think I want to discard this so I can have less. Number one, I'm not trying to make a gallon of sourdough. I haven't even made a loaf yet. And I want to clean this jar. I don't want to keep using a dirty jar, but I'm going to show you guys how this looks on the inside. Hello, you guys. It is the end of the night. My bonnet is on, and I need to come and give final thoughts on the Queen's Fool. This is the first time in a long time where I went into a book fully expecting to give it 5 stars, and it's not going to come anywhere near it. And then when I got to the halfway point of this book, I was like, okay, this is a 4-star book. I'm also not giving this book 4 stars. You guys, I think I'm going to give this book 3.5 stars. I won't give it 3 because usually if I give a book 3 stars, it's just like, that really wasn't for me, and that's fine. Like, I appreciate this book, but it's just not for me. This book is a little bit more than that. I did not hate my reading experience. I enjoyed most of my reading experience with this. I was interested in everything going along with it. I just think this book didn't fully come together. So because I am reading these books in publication order, this is a part of a long series. This is actually the 12th book in the series, but this is the second book that she wrote, and I am a purist. I believe in reading series in publication order and not in, after the fact when the author comes in and be like, you should read this book and this book. No, I'm reading it as it was intended to be read when this was published. And so this is the second book that was published, and I think Philippa Gregory was trying something different with this book. So in the other Boleyn Girl, you are following historical figures. You are following the Boleyn family. They are real people who meet real fates. Like, we know what's going to happen to them. And this book, Philippa Gregory introduced a purely fictional character in a purely fictional, world and community. And then she tied it into these real people. So Queen Mary, Princess Elizabeth, and all those people. So she was taking the real and the fake and balancing them with each other. And I just don't think it fully gelled together. I think Hannah as a character is really, really weak. her narrative voice isn't strong enough to make this book as compelling as it should be. There is this back and forth between Queen Mary and Princess Elizabeth, and Hannah is supposed to be, telling us the players on the board who's going against who, but Hannah isn't a strong enough character to sell it, so she just gets lost in the sauce, and everything revolving around her just doesn't seem all that interesting because she's not interesting. You're never interested in how Hannah is going to fare in any of this stuff. So there's all these moving characters, and because Hannah is telling us what she thinks is happening, you just don't care. You don't care about what Elizabeth has going on. You don't care about what Mary has going on because you don't care about Hannah. So how she plays into all of this is just like, who cares, girl? Like, you're just not interesting. And so she makes everything around her uninteresting because her voice isn't strong enough to ground the story. Another thing that this book does is, I was talking about when I first gave my thoughts on this book, that this book is very girl boss. So I guess this has been an issue since the dawn of time. I talked about this in the book, The Four Women by Kristen Hanna, where you will get a character who is like so feminist. Like, I want to be a strong, independent woman. I don't want to be a wife. I don't want to be a mother. I want to be a career woman. And for some reason, the book always leads them into being a mother or being a wife, and sometimes both. And it's supposed to be like this thing on choice feminism where it's just like, but I made the choice to be that thing, therefore it's feminist. I don't believe in that bullshit. I think choices are either feminist or they're not feminist. Just because you're a woman and you do something, it doesn't necessarily mean that choice is feminism. So I don't even believe in that. And so this book does that. Hannah starts this book off as this girl who, is she a boy? Is she a girl? So it has this queerness to it. I don't want to be a wife. I don't want to be a mother. I don't want to be a homemaker. Spoiler alert, the book ends with her being exactly that. The book ends with her being exactly that. She just all of a sudden gets this whim that she needs to be a mother. And that happens in so many feminist books where suddenly they just get this whim for motherhood. It's just like one day the wind blows and it's just like, you know what? I would love to be a mother. And it's just like, there's nothing progressive about this. This idea that like, hey, you can have all these desires, but one day you will eventually want to be a mother. It's just going to come across. Like, I actually think it's part of the problem. This idea that women who say they don't want to be mothers, that one day they either will be sad if they don't become a mother, their life won't be enough if they don't become a mother, or one day you will just want to be a mother and it'll just come. I think that's a harmful idea. And so a book that is old, 20 plus years old, did it, and books that come out now do the exact same thing. And I think it's because they don't want to alienate a certain type of reader, because a lot of readers are stay-at-home moms, a lot of readers are mothers, and so it's like, we don't want you to feel away. Like, being a mother is great, but like, isn't the whole point about like, this is a choice that I am making, and like, women get to be more than mothers and wives. But anyway, so it did that, and so it just kind of put the nail in the coffin of Hannah as a character to me. I just think Hannah as a character was just not interesting. She wasn't interesting. Her voice wasn't good. She didn't have enough convictions. She kind of went with the wind, and it just didn't all come together for me. So I am going to give this book 3.5 stars, but I am excited to move on to the next one. The next one is what? Let me see. The next one is The Taming of the Queen, I think. It's either The Taming of the Queen or it's The Boleyn Inheritance. I think it's The Taming of the Queen. Or maybe it's The Constant Princess. No, the next book is The Constant Princess. The next book is The Constant Princess, I think. I could be making this up. And so we will read that in another vlog, or I'll just read it on my own. I don't know. It's just hard to read a book like this on my own and not put it in a vlog, because like, they're so long. So like, when would I have time to read a book this long and not put it in a vlog? Like, this is like, usually I'll have like 2 days where like I'm not filming for a vlog, and so I can read something that's quick. But these books take at least 3 days to finish for me. Anyways, we're going to move on to a book that will not take me 3 days to finish. Hopefully I can read it all in one day. And it is The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. This is going to be a good palate cleanser. This is going to be a good palate cleanser before we go into the next book in that Immortal series by Chloe Gong. This is just going to be something that gets us over like The Hump. So I'm excited to read this. I'm going to read some pages in the morning when I wake up, maybe read for about an hour. And yeah, that's what we are going to do. You guys, I have a book depository bookmark. Book depository doesn't exist anymore, does it? Book depository went out of business a couple years ago, a year or two ago, didn't it? A relic. Anyways, I will talk to you guys tomorrow to discuss the Sea of Monsters, okay? Hello, you guys. Would you care to see what I got at the Sephora VIB sale? For some reason, I always need something in the Sephora VIB sale. And so, I had to get some things. I actually still might put in another order, depending on how I feel. Like, do I want to spend some more money? I just finished my taxes, so now that monkey is off my back. And so I'm like feeling loose, I'm feeling free. So the first thing I purchased was a toner, which this is a really small size. So I might go and get another one of these. This is really small. I usually do the big one. This is the toner that I use every single day. I love it. It does the job. And then what else did I buy? I bought a Tatcha rice water cleanser because I just opened up a new one, and then this should be able to get me through the year. So I should be done with needing to buy new cleanser. I think the new one I have right now, and then this one should be all I need for the rest of the year. And then something new I am going to be trying. I currently use the Lancome HCF. Is that what it's called? I currently use that serum on my face at night, but I think I'm going to see the Dewy Serum by Tatcha. I'm going to see if this does something for me. Number one, this is like $30 cheaper. This is like 89 bucks. The serum I currently use is like 100 and something bucks. And it's just like, if this gives me what I want to, like, I just want a glowy look about myself. And if this gives me that and I can spend less money, let's see about that. The other thing, and actually the last thing that I bought, was I want to try the Forever Mood. Jackie Aina has a perfume line, and she has this perfume that, like most people who talk about the line, they talk about this perfume, and I want to try it out to see how it is, to see if I should get the full size. So I'm gonna smell it. Let's see. This is interesting. This is a really good scent. This is what you want. Like, if you walk by someone or you're next to them, you want them to smell like this, you know? Like, it doesn't smell too much like you have something on. It's like, this could be like, it smells like, for me, the perfect fragrance for me is a fragrance that smells like your house could smell like it. Like, you smell like you come from a clean home. Those are my favorite type of fragrances. And this kind of like really hits on that. I like this. So I might buy this in the full size. I need to get this in a bigger size. I need to get my La Mer serum because I just looked. I'm almost out of that. So I need to purchase this in a bigger size. Maybe I can be okay with this. I'm gonna just be okay with this size, whatever. I'm gonna get my La Mer serum, this in a bigger size. I decided I'm not gonna buy makeup brushes, even though they're 30% off. That's the thing, when makeup brushes are 30% off, why wouldn't you buy them? I'm gonna buy 2 makeup brushes. La Mer, 2 makeup brushes, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna buy. That's the last thing I'm gonna get from the sale, and that'll be it. But yeah, I didn't do a huge haul. Just, you know, a minimum. And also, all of this stuff was like free. I used my credit card points, my American Express credit card points. I used them to buy all this stuff. So like, this was like $190, and it was free 99 to me because I spend too much money on a daily basis. So I have a lot of credit card points, and I used it here. Anyways, we need to read Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief. That is the book we are going to read next. Not The Lightning Thief, A Sea of Monsters. So let's get on into that, okay? Peace. Hello and good morning. I am here to give you guys some initial thoughts on the Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. I took off the dust jacket because I was reading this book, and I just love the brown on this. And I love the fact that even though I got specialty covers, the titles on the books are still in the same like font that the original book titles were in. I think that's really, really nice and thoughtful. So anyways, we are back with Percy Jackson. It has been about a year since the last time we were with Percy Jackson, and Percy Jackson is finally about to graduate the 8th grade, because a running thing in this book is that Percy Jackson just can't leave middle school. I think that is so camp that, like, even though he tries his best, he can't graduate from middle school, and that's what keeps these books in like the middle grade level. Anyways, it is the last day of school, and he gets word from his mom that something is happening at Camp Half-Blood, and they've been under attack, but she's like, I'll tell you later, baby, you need to get to school. So he goes to school, and he notices weird things on his way to school, but finally he's at school. He gives us the lay of the land. He has a new best friend named Tyson, but Tyson gets bullied by everyone because he looks kind of weird. And everybody, the school is like a school for like troubled kids, kinda. And so they don't really do much at this school. It's pretty easy to graduate. Well, one day they are playing dodgeball. They are playing dodgeball, and Percy Jackson starts to get attacked by the other team's dodgeball players. And before you know it, these dodgeball players turn into monsters, and Percy's just like, oh, okay, this is weird. And they start throwing like fire at his ass, but his best friend Tyson catches the fiery balls, and nothing happens to him. Nothing happens to him. So he's like, that's weird. Well, Annabeth from the first book, who we met at Camp Half-Blood, she comes to the school, she kills the monsters, and she's like, we gotta go, baby. So they go. Annabeth opens up these like portals and shit. They get in this magical taxi, and they get back to Camp Half-Blood. When they get to Camp Half-Blood is under attack by monsters. By the way, they took Tyson to Camp Half-Blood as well. And we learned from Annabeth and everybody else that there was a tree. So there was some lore in the first book where when Annabeth got to Camp Half-Blood, there was this girl, and they were under attack, and this girl basically gave her life to save everybody. And her dad, one of the gods, he turned her into a tree, and this tree kind of keeps the border safe. As long as she's a tree, and as long as she is there and planted, she keeps the border safe so monsters can't come into Camp Half-Blood. Well, somebody poisoned the tree. And they've been under attack ever since. So that's what is happening at Camp Half-Blood. We find out that Tyson is actually like half monster, half like nature-y spirit. So he's actually, he's actually not a human being either. And we find out that their director, who was over the camp last year when Percy was there, they're blaming him for everything that's happening. So they have a new director. And that's pretty much what is going on. Oh, Grover. So Grover is on his quest. At the end of the last book, Grover is Percy Jackson's like real best friend. Grover is on a quest, and Percy Jackson has been having dreams about Grover, and he thinks something might be wrong with Grover. Because he keeps having bad dreams about him. Where I am in the book, we know what's going on with Grover, but let me just give you that. And that's what's going on. Oh, baby, I am enjoying this book. This book started off with a bang, baby. Like, we just got right on into it. This book is quick. I am enjoying it. Like I said, these are like good palate cleanser books for me. I enjoy the writing. I enjoy Percy Jackson and his relationship to everybody. I enjoy that Percy Jackson is just like a good person, just like a good kid at the heart of him. And I like these books. Like I said, I actually kind of regret not reading these books when I was younger, but I don't think I would have liked them. I grew to appreciate middle grade fantasy. When I was middle grade, I did not like reading fantasy books. I just didn't. So I like it more now, because I can appreciate middle grade fantasy, but I am enjoying this book. Anyways, I am currently actually doing a puzzle. This is the puzzle that I'm doing. Yeah, I'm almost done with it. I've actually already done this puzzle. I'm redoing a puzzle, and if anyone ever asks, I redo puzzles. So I'm actually redoing this puzzle. It's only 500. I just wanted to do it because I just wanted to listen to an audiobook. I'm listening to another book on audio, and I thought it'd be cool. By the way, I have some updates on the Forever Mood Hard to Get fragrance. I've been wearing this for the past couple of days, and I think this scent is so damn good. It smells so good. My own Jackie, my only critique, Jackie, the scent is amazing. It makes me want to see what the other scents are giving. My only problem is the wearability, or I don't know what they call it in like the fragrance world, but like how long this lasts. Like when this goes on the skin, it's potent, it smells amazing. But I feel like after an hour, she's gone. She's gone. Now, I know some people like a more faint scent and that would work for them. It's definitely a matter of preference. I just personally, like, I want my fragrance to pack a punch. Like, I want to smell you all day. And I know you're not supposed to put perfume in your hair, but you guys can't make, I can't read, so you guys can't tell me what to do. Yeah, like you can just put this on like all day long. And like, it's just something, I think it's one of those, maybe if you had a base fragrance and put this on top, it would last longer. That's my only thing, Jackie. It just doesn't last that long as I want my fragrance to last. I want to smell this shit all day. But this smells so damn good. And I will be getting the full size. I'm about to place a Sephora order now, and I'm just going to get a full size, and I'm just going to constantly spray it throughout the day. This is going to be my summer scent, baby. Anyways, you guys can see how far I've gotten in the puzzle. This is how far I've gotten in the puzzle, so I just have to do the flowers around it. And so, yeah, I'm going to read some more Percy Jackson. I have some hash browns cooking in my air fryer, if you hear it back there. So I'm going to eat. There it is. And then I'm going to read some more Percy. And that's my day. I got my coffee. Peace. Hello, you guys. I am about to enter an era of my life called my sandwich era. Me entering a sandwich era is 100% a recession indicator because I do not like sandwiches. Actually, you guys, when I was in high school, I worked at Subway, and that's how I know I don't like sandwiches, because I never ate the sandwiches at Subway. They don't have these anymore, I don't think, but Subway used to have those pizzas, which were like $5 at the time, and you got a whole personal pizza. You could put anything on it. I didn't put stuff on it because there was nothing to put on it, but you could put all types of stuff on it, and it was literally just like $5. That's what I used to eat on my lunch break. But anyways, I've decided I am going to make sandwiches, hot sandwiches. So I got some roast beef from Publix. I do not eat pork because haram, but I do eat beef, so I can do like pastrami, I can do roast beef. I don't like turkey, and that's been my issue entering my sandwich era. Most cold cuts are pork, so like I can't do any of that. And then I don't really like turkey. So I run into an issue, but I can eat beef. But like, how much beef should you be eating? I don't know. But I'm gonna do roast beef, provolone cheese, pickle, and sourdough. That's what I'm gonna eat. That's gonna be my lunch. I have not made my own sourdough yet. I think my sourdough starter is ready, so I really should make some sourdough. I think I'm gonna make sourdough the first week in May. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep feeding it, and then so the sourdough starter is still going on by the way. But anyways, I'm gonna make me a roast beef sandwich, okay? And you can. Almost forgot to show y'all the sandwich Got a little chip, little wavy lays. And here's my sandwich. So let's see how this goes. Because let's see. I'm going to try it. I'll check back in with you later and tell you how it went. Okay, peace. Hello, you guys. Today is the last day of the vlog. I said I was going to finish Percy Jackson yesterday, and I didn't, but I did finish my puzzle, so I'm more proud of that because I can read anytime. I finished my puzzle, so that is great. Have my coffee. I'm actually about to go upstairs and read. I probably have about 100 pages left of this book. How am I feeling about this book? Okay. I think I don't like Greek mythology. This is something like when I read Circe, when I read the first Percy Jackson book, I don't think I'm a Greek mythology girl. And I actually think that when I put these books down as a child, that's why I put them down. I am somebody who is very consistent in my personality. I look at things that I enjoy as an adult, and I can literally track them back to things that I liked when I was 7 years old. There's not a lot about my personality, my desires, the things I enjoy doing that has really changed over my years of living. Maybe that's a little problematic, but like I like what I like. I'm just that type of person, and I've really never enjoyed Greek mythology. So therefore, this Percy Jackson as a series can only do but so much for me because it is so tied to Greek mythology. What I appreciate about this book is so in the first book, I remember saying that Percy Jackson didn't really talk like a middle schooler. Like he seemed a little too, like his quips and stuff were a little too advanced for his age. I think this book, all of that was fixed. Percy Jackson does feel like a school-age kid, like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old. Not saying he just seemed old as hell in the first book. You could tell like an adult was writing a kid. That's how the first book felt. I think that's completely changed in this book. And this book is fast-paced. Like you immediately start this book and you are right up in it. I know this is a lot of people's favorite Percy Jackson book, I think. This book has a lot of like layers to the plot, like all the things that are set up to happen in this book. You have what Percy has going on, Annabeth, Grover, Tyson, Luke is back. And then you have the stuff they're dealing with their parents, and then we have Clarice. There's a lot of characters in this book, and they all have their own motives. Now, I will say, I think Annabeth as a character is kind of weak, especially because as someone who didn't really know anything about Percy Jackson, I always hear about Annabeth. And so I'm expecting Annabeth to just be so great and so fucking amazing. And like, she just like is like, she's here, she's in almost every scene, but like, we don't get a lot about her. And I think that's what stops me from like loving this series. We don't get a lot of personal so far from these characters. We get them, they're on this quest. You learn about them through these quests instead of like you already knowing about them and them going on this quest. And so the stakes are kind of low because I don't feel anything for the characters. So it's still enjoyable, like no issue. It's a middle grade book. I'm enjoying it. Great. But anyways, I'm going to finish this and I'm going to wrap up the video. I'm going to show you guys some books that I got this week because that'll be fun. And yeah, that just is what it is. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. I have decided to end the vlog here. I didn't know if I wanted to add a third book into this video. I decided not to. It actually took me an entire week to read both of these books. I don't know why. Maybe I've just been reading slow. Maybe I need to stay off my phone. But I did finish The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. And this is just a really fun adventure book. I understand why so many people go back and read the Percy Jackson books if they read them as a kid, because they're just so like easy to read. Every single scene is a battle scene. You're constantly going on these adventures. I can see how these books could just be really heartwarming to people when they were a child, and then keeping that love alive when you are an adult. I don't feel like there's anything productive I can really add to Percy Jackson discourse at this point. This book was a really good middle grade book, and if you like Greek mythology, if you like middle grade, if you like fantasy, this is right there. It's right in line with the first book. I enjoyed this book, and I will be continuing on the series. I have 3 more books in this series. I won't make any more vlogs about this series because I feel like you guys get it. Kenya thinks Percy Jackson is good. Maybe when I go to the Heroes of Olympus next year, I'll tap back in with you guys, but I will read the last 3 books sometime this year. And then we picked up in the Tudor series again. I read The Queen's Fool by Philippa Gregory. Didn't love this one. It's not that I dislike this book at all. I read this book front to back physically. I had a good time with this book. It's just the other Boleyn girl was really good to me, and there was stakes and there was conniving. And I just think Philippa Gregory, in her second book that she published in this series, she was trying to do something a little bit different, and it didn't appeal to my taste fully, but this still was a really, really enjoyable book. I'm going to give this book 3.5 stars. And that is the end of the reading portion. Now, I do have some new books to show you guys. I did some damage and I bought some books. So over the past week, some books have been delivered to my home and I need to show you them. So the first book is the next book in the Magnolia Park series. I read Magnolia Parks on my Kindle and I got the book Daisy Hates in physical because I just think these covers are so unique. I don't know what it is. I just think the covers are so unique. So I decided I'm going to read this one physically. And so I got Daisy Hates. That came in the mail. One of my most anticipated books of 2025 was Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man by J.C.Q. Sutanto. I am so excited to read this book. I'm actually disappointed that this book is not even 300 pages because I love the unsolicited advice of Vera Wong last year. And so I got to get to this one soon. I picked up The Nix by Nathan Hill. I read Wellness by Nathan Hill, which now I can't even find it. It's somewhere. Oh, you can't see it. It's right there. It's that blue book right there. I read Wellness by Nathan Hill last year. I have a whole vlog on it, and I really enjoyed it. And so the first book, I think this is Nathan Hill's debut. I think, don't get me to lying. The Nix, I want to read this, and I think it's going to be really good. It's a long one, but going into summer, I actually want to pick up some longer books. I haven't read a lot. I mean, this book was 500 pages, and I'm talking about I haven't read any long books. But I do want to read some longer books, and so I got that. Another book I got was Long Island Compromise by Taffy Brodzakner. Long Island Compromise. This is a book that had its day. A lot of people enjoyed it, and I am going to see what it is all about. I think it'll be a fun one. The next book I got is Last Couple Standing by Matthew Norman. It's about some people who are swingers, a couple. I just love books about couples. I love literary fiction about couples. So that's why I got my hands on this. And then we have a Sonora Reyes. I've read 2 books by this author. And so this one seems like a queer book. So I will definitely be picking this up during Pride Month. It is called The Broposal. So I got my hands on this and I think that'll be good. And the last book is also another anticipated book of the year. It is The Maid's Secret by Tia Prose. I need a Prose, sorry. I think this is the last book in the Maid series. If it's not in this series, it's going to keep going. I might get off the ship right here. I don't think I need to keep reading books in this series. I might get off right here if this isn't the last, but I just think this yellow is gorgeous. Yellow is my favorite color, and I think this yellow is so beautiful. So this is one of my most anticipated books of the year. Sometime soon, I want to do a vlog reading like new releases because I have a lot of new releases. Emily Henry is coming. Nobody is giving the new Emily Henry any good reviews. Like, they are trashing it all. So I'm so curious because I haven't liked any of Emily Henry's books since People We Meet on Vacation. So maybe this is the one for me since y'all liked Happy Place, the last one. So maybe this is the one for me. We'll see. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys in the next one.